Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're on episode number 65. My name is Craig Perales, and the man that always was born to hand drive, baby, Mandrew Montemayor.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything cool because I'm already going to skip to the cut and the chase, and this beer sucks.
Ooh, so beer recommendation by Chris Trejo was the Kachina Throwback Ale, a 4.9% wheat beer. Fella, see, sometimes I don't know if people are recommending us beers that they like or they want us to drink shitty beer. Because this is a pretty shitty beer.
It tastes like when you open like a Coors Light and then you put it in the fridge and leave it till like the next day and then you go to drink it. And what's really weird about it too is the way that it feels, the texture, as you'll notice on the table here. I was able to peel off my label that's on here.
Cheap wrapper. It tastes like drinking. It's like worse than drinking like river water.
I don't know. All I know is it definitely matches as the official drink of the Coyotes because I've seen the Coyotes and they suck.
Yeah, I was looking it up because I was just looking up to see what about it so we can write some of the facts. Yeah, it's the official beer of the NHL Coyotes, and I gotta assume this is what they're selling for $9 a beer. Get people wrecked because all it does is it ruins taste buds. It ruins lives.
You know, actually,
it's about to ruin the show.
When I went to the Coyotes game, I don't even remember seeing this beer being available.
Oh, well, I mean, don't they usually put it in like a draft? They're not selling you cans, are they?
You know, I do remember getting a draft there that I thought was a Coors Light, and it wasn't good, and I couldn't figure out why, and I just thought they're fucking... Because that was my thoughts. I was like, oh, this beer tastes like flat. And now I'm having war flashbacks.
I've never wanted to rush through a beer to get through it, but I gotta say, that was an interesting choice. So, fuck you, for your suggestion. And I am curious if it was a beer that they were just like, hey, I want to see him drink a shitty beer and see that. Because usually we get some good choices, and this is just a little above our pay grade.
It's not shitty, but I'd say it's like mediocre.
It's mediocre compared to, I would say, the last 7 we've had.
I want to know what the cost is to wrap these things individually versus just like printing on a can.
Yeah, that is the.
But thank you for the suggestion. I do appreciate it.
Keep them coming because I don't. Let's. What am I drinking? Some more shitty beers just so I can cross them off my list when I go to a bar or now an NHL game. I will never order it again.
Yeah, because they would have got me good. I would have had a nice 32 ounce of this.
Yeah, you got you good, you fucker. So guys, normally we save it to the end, but we're kind of switching it up here. I want you guys to take a moment of pause and make sure you guys are subscribed to Last Call Productions. Make sure you guys go back. Make sure you like a lot of our episodes. And when you guys are done with these videos, go down and make sure that you leave a comment or two. Make sure that you guys are giving us a little feedback. Make sure you're following us on Facebook. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Last Call Productions. Make sure you're following us at Twitter, Last Call PureODZ, and following all of the podcast sites like iTunes, Spotify, and soon to be Anchor. We're right in the process of getting Anchor on there, so...
I would even say, too, definitely follow. We have 2 different Facebooks. There's the Last Call Productions where we just mostly post our reviews and some things, but just hyperlinks and everything to the video. But there's actually another Last Call Productions group that there's a lot of people in there. I talk to people all the time that everyone's always posting in there and stuff like that. So it's a good place to, like a little chat room.
Yeah, find me on Facebook. Add me as a friend. I'll send you the invite. We'll be best friends forever. So... moving forward to the first story that we have, the PlayStation 5 has finally came out with a video that shows off the UI. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is the user interface. This is how you kind of react with the system, how it kind of moves through and navigates to certain things. Now, the video came out. It's roughly about 11 minutes long. I've got to say, before we start getting into everything that it kind of showed off, it looks really smooth, and I like the way it's looked. Everything looked crystal clear, and a lot of it was just, in game of what you could access without ever leaving the game that you're actually on.
Yeah, I think that's what I like the most about it, is just how snappy it was, because I'm finding even now, like on my Xbox, that sometimes I'll push the menu, and it takes like 30 seconds before it'll load. It doesn't do it all the time, but it's been seeming like it's increasing like more and more frequently.
So the first thing, guys, they kind of showed off was their kind of reinterpretation of the control center. This is kind of what was at the bottom that kind of helps you navigate through, whether it be, it had like the sound on it, it had the party chat, it had all the kind of menus that normally you'd have to hit the home button to kind of re-access. And then it also started showing off the card aspect of it. So when your game's paused or you have that menu done, it shows you like progression towards certain things. It shows you in-game, like, not, I wouldn't say so much achievements, but like in-game progression that maybe you're missing in something like that. And that alone is just worth its weight. It easily lets you, when you start playing it, it lets you know how to start navigate if you don't want to finish a level too soon, what you can go back and do. And they were using Sackboy as kind of the example, and I really liked what they were showing off.
Yeah, I like too that, like you're saying, as a part of that, they have like another thing that actually gives you hints without spoilers on the game that you can click on it and it'll tell you how close you are to doing it, how long it will actually take you to do it. So like you get 10 minutes, another hour before you finish whatever the objective is. And if you even get stuck, there's like a video without ever having to leave the game or anything, just right here on the side that you can pop off and play that'll show you what you're supposed to do or give you that video hint on where, you know, kind of where to go or whatever. I really like that and just how quick and responsive it was. Like, I thought that was really cool.
And the main thing we got to point out, though, this is only for the PS Plus members. So you do got to be subscribed to gain all these in-game features. I mean, everything's going to run smoothly and you're going to be able to access certain things. But if you want all the kit and caboodle, as they say, you got to be a PS Plus member. And yeah, it was beautiful that they're showing, you know, they were kind of doing in real time of him. They were stuck on something. Let's look it up and see how it's done. Instead of me pulling out my phone or pulling up a web browser and starting to look things up, it was just as simple as the game knows where you're at and it knows what you're searching for. So it instantly pulls something up that, like Andrew's saying, it made sure that it doesn't ruin too much if you don't want it, and it will never show you any type of spoiler. But because, I mean, we've all looked up things in games. How many times are you looking up a 14-minute video to find one minute and a half thing? Yeah. And this thing is segmented into exactly the point you're at. And the other thing I like, and I don't know if they kind of jump too much into it, is if once you're getting to like the end of a level or you want to jump back in and you want to do the activity, it'll warp you straight to that port so you can kind of getting it done. Because I really love the fact that they're saying it gave you an estimated time of how long it's going to take you to actually beat those, you know, in-game activities, as they're calling them.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. But again, the biggest, if it'll save me, because there's tons of times where I like, oh, how do I beat this guy or whatever? And then the first video, Spider-Man kills Doc Ock. I'm like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like,
you ruined it. So
I didn't play Spider-Man, so if that's really a spoiler or something like that, I'm sorry. I have no clue.
This guy's always spoiling something. So, I mean, out of just that, man, I really like the fact that it gives you kind of that estimated time. So we'll see where that's going, because that's really, when you like pause the game and you go into that menu, those cards are kind of everything now, and it's kind of just really easy to navigate, really easy to push over and move through. Anything else you want to add on that before we get into what else they were showing off?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Ps4 UI, because I don't own one, I only use it when I actually come over here. This actually seemed like it was a lot easier to use and like for me to figure out, even just looking at it visually. Because when I come over here and I was trying to figure it out, I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, there's tons of time because if you look at the old Ps4 UI, it's always a button that leads you back to the home, pulls you out of everything, whether you want to look up trophies or you want to look up any kind of other media or context or switch over to things. This thing is now just all right there. And the next thing they moved into was showing how easily like the party chat was going to go. Just as easy as somebody sending you a message, you could click a button, jump into the party, and instantly start just talking to them with the integrated microphone that you have in your controller. So like that, they don't want you to miss a beat. They don't want you to ever come out of the experience of playing the game. And yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, if anything though too, I don't know how the like chat works now, but it pretty much just looked like Xbox's party chat pretty much. And I think Xbox party chat works very well. I hardly ever have an issue with it. So I mean, it's really hard to, once you get to a point that's almost like perfection, to really like improve on something like that.
Right. Well, yeah, essentially, because these aren't all like changes. They're just, some of these are just good upgrades. They're not all new features.
Right.
They're just improved upgrades. Because the other thing they had is what they were showing is if you want to like do a camera mode and you want to send it, not only is it not going to stop your game because you can upload it later, once you actually do, you can send it to like groups. So like instead of just sending it to all your friends list, you can start making like in-game groups of friends and things like that. It kind of just reminded me of sending, like we have our own in-group text messages.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, okay, I want to send this picture to whoever's playing a game. I don't want to send it to anyone that doesn't play that. I'm just going to send it to the group of me, Gino, Andrew, Cian, or something like that. And that's where I'm going to send it. The other cool thing about the picture and the video sent is if you are if you are playing the game or you haven't played the game and what I'm sending you in the video or picture is a spoiler, before they open it, it gives them a warning saying, oh, if you're looking forward to this game, because they can tell that it's like end game or anything like that, warning, this might be a spoiler. So I like that. You can't even kind of fuck over your friends anymore by saying, hey, I made it to here, where are you at?
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to watch it, it flat out gives you a warning. I like the fact that it's recognizing what the media is that you're sending to and from friends.
Right. And I mean, I especially like what they're doing with the media, because they even take that a step further as far as not just sending messages with that video in that own group, but even the screen sharing. I don't know if that's how it works on PS4. I know you can see like other people play or even do a remote, but I like the idea of someone's playing a game, you just be able to jump in and watch what they're doing. Because there's tons of times too, especially where I'm if I'm the last one on Call of Duty and my friends are all in a game and I have to wait on them, I would like to be able to jump in and watch and be like, okay, cool, now I can just watch it till the end, still be in the party and talking with everybody and just watching whatever, and then, whatever, jump in when it's my turn.
Yeah, because they're showing the fact that the ability to jump into someone's game that has a party going and ready to go is almost seamless, and especially with loading times being clocked way the fuck down, it's almost instantaneously. But like Andrew's saying, they have that feature of the screen sharing, and you can kind of pin it onto your screen wherever you want, whether it's going to be in the top corner, left corner, right corner. So if you are playing, you could, keep an eye on somebody, what they're doing, pause if they get stuck. Like if I'm playing Resident Evil 2 and I'm asking Andrew for help, he can watch me playing while I'm playing it the whole time and kind of go, oh yeah, just take a left right there or right there. Now that may be distractive at some point. I'm assuming that's going to be a lot more casual and friendly, or if you guys are even playing like Battletoads, co-op or something. I don't know what you would do with it. I was questioning though, if you are playing like Call of Duty, can I pin all three of my partners or people with their screens? Because if you're on a big enough TV, it's not going to be like that small of a window, but I have access to be looking at everybody.
I don't know.
Because didn't it just say you can only do one person? I'm curious if you can do multiple pins.
I honestly don't think that you could. I mean, they might. They haven't said anything, but from what I've seen from whatever and what I think they're going to do, I think it's probably just going to stick to one.
Yeah, well, I mean, but could it be in the same game as when you're in the same party playing? Because what they kind of showed off was like, I'm playing game A, you're playing game B, and I'm watching it. Could we both be playing game A, and now I have another screen that's showing it from your point of view? And you go, hey, I'm on this side, you're on this side. Okay, and I'm peripherring that. That almost kind of seems, I don't know, maybe a tad unfair in those games, if you're able to do it.
Yeah, depending on what it is. So, I don't know. We'll see, though.
We will see. It's definitely a cool feature.
Yeah, I think that was probably the coolest thing that they had shown from today.
Yeah, because then they start going into, like, once you're in the home screen and things like that, and they started showing that the games and media tab are two separate things. So instead of being kind of intertwined and really clanky to kind of separate your games from your YouTube, from your Netflix, to things like that, it's two separate things that you can kind of move around, and I really like that. It again, it's just an upgrade. This isn't something new. It's just like, let's take what was jumbled and it really made no sense into two separate tabs. One's going to have your YouTube, your streaming, and all your other things. The other one's going to be stripped to your games, and when you click into those games, all your DLCs and anything like that, you want your expansion passes. So it really kind of blew that up.
Yeah, so I mean, that was the biggest thing, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for too with Xbox, is just better quality of life, because I don't know how much better you can make it. Again, I can't imagine it, and I won't know it until I see it, but I am looking for that QL.
Ooh, I can just hear this can crinking with that, whatever the fuck this wrapper is, into this thing. And I mean, the more I drink it, the beer's not as bad. I just do not get this design of this can. It's driving me crazy. So the other thing they had was a whole separate tab that shows off news. So instead of searching around your thing for any type of big story that might be going on, there's going to be a certain page dedicated to it. And I'm curious if Sony's a gatekeeper behind what can be on it. I'd assume they
would imagine
would
so,
be.
yeah.
So you're only going to get a version of what they would like you to read, I would guess at. But it is kind of a cool concept if you are just kind of sitting around browsing. You're not playing a game. You're doing something. You just kind of scroll and you want to see what news hits, because a lot of cool things drop day of that you don't see about till the next day. So if they've got something that kind of remind you of it, I like it. Who knows who's going to actually be attached to that?
Right.
What'd you think? What would you keep it on, like a if there was like an alarm button to let you know if there's a new story? Would you highlight it?
Not if it's only from like them, but I mean, I would go when I know that there's going to be some sort of like big drop or announcing a game or announcing whatever. I mean, that would be pretty cool to see that right then and there, because then I don't have to go online. Like, let's say I wasn't whatever. I'm playing a game. I'm backing out. I get something in the new, a new Final Fantasy trailer, a new exclusive game trailer, Bloodborne 2, something like that, dropped right there. Like, you could just drop a trailer.
Yeah, I would like it if you could go into it, and maybe you can. You could go into it and go, hey, I want to know when Final Fantasy news comes up. I want
Notifications,
you can kind of redefine the way you get your news instead of just kind of being in general. But that looked like a cool, simple idea. And the last thing they were showing off is that the PlayStation Store, is now integrated within the whole system of it. It's not just a separate app. So everything you can kind of navigate. So when you are looking at your games or your media, you can go to the game and click it, and it'll take you to DLC that you can buy it instead of going to a separate store app and purchasing it separately. So like, as easy as that sounds, just simple navigation leads you into buying new expansion passes or upgrades or things like that. I mean, overall, I think they did a really solid job.
Yeah, and I like that, again, it wasn't some like crazy over elaborate video. It was like 11 minutes, so it's like the perfect length. So
detail.
Like, again, this is something that I've been wanting to see. Now let's just see it out there in the wild where it's not some guy in a safe atmosphere working on it, you know?
Yeah, because one of the things they said in the video is that all these features won't happen to every player day one, but eventually it will be coming. And some of these features will not be on all games. So that's a head scratcher of why, because I guess some of those maybe even like activities of like following certain things to get the trophy, maybe that's just based on developer. If a developer doesn't want to have certain things in it, sure, but that was one thing that stood out to me. It says not all players will have it day one, and not all games are going to have all of these features. So I was curious of being like, I wonder what's going to be the main one that sticks out first, because I would assume every first-party Sony studio would have every feature.
I think it's going to be a popular mechanic. They did say it's up to the developer to use it, but again, I think that going forward, and depending on how easy it is to do, people are going to catch more shit if it doesn't work than, it doesn't work on that. It's all right. It's no big deal. Versus if it works well with all these other things, why can't you do it?
Yeah, I would say just overall, this thing looked really clean. I think a lot of us were nervous because the PS3 was terrible. I mean, we can all be honest. The PS3 was a terrible one. The PS4 got slightly better, but still had mistakes. This PS5 one looks like it cleaned up everything that was wrong with everything that people complained about. And so far, off of a small demo, it looks like it runs pretty seamlessly. So
right,
I'm looking forward to it because we shall be playing it. Next one goes into, so last week, guys, we talked about the merger between Microsoft and GameStop essentially becoming and developing a partnership. So we last week were trickling on more what happens with them. Where do they go with this? I understand that they're now all access partners, but how does that affect GameStop moving into an all digital, selling space when all they are is putting out Xboxes into the wild and being kind of a tech center if you want to go there and get some information? Well, it shows that they are now going to start receiving a share of the digital revenue that they have. So in layman's terms, I guess, from what we're getting is anything they put out in the wild that's under their umbrella of GameStop. If Andrew buys an Xbox, anything he's going to start buying digitally, whether it be subscriptions or downloads or DLC, GameStop is going to see a small fraction going back into their pockets moving forward in this digital direction. I mean, Andrew, what do you think?
I think if anything, like I was saying before, like if anything, it's going to give more incentive, like how people used to buy shelf space and whatever in Walmart and stores by offering some sort of percentage to GameStop. What's someone more likely to push then? The console that's not going to give me anything, or this is going to help my bottom line now. Again, they didn't say an amount, so we don't know exactly how much it's going to be, but if it's going to help your overall store, especially when your job is to push sales, hey, get this cheaper digital console that's $299. It's already cheaper than the other one. It can do a lot of the same things, almost everything, just small differences. Boom. Now I'm receiving a small cut of all digital proceeds that are now going through that.
Yeah, because a lot of people are speculating that it really couldn't be it couldn't be much higher than 10, but it could be as low as 1%. But so there was a tweet that just came out, and this kind of reconfirmed everything that was happening. This is from the Domo Capital Management LLC, and it said today, $GME GameStop confirmed with @Domo Capital that the agreement with $MSFT, which is Microsoft, includes revenue sharing on all downstream revenue, i.e. digital downloads and digital content, from any device that GameStop brings into the @Xbox ecosystem. GameStop now meaningfully participates in digital. Because like Andrew's saying, we don't know the percentage of what they're getting, but not only does this thrive their incentive to get more things into the wild under their name, but it gives them something more than nothing, because you got to remember, GameStop compared to like Walmart or Target or Best Buy is still the number one selling physical place to buy games at. I mean, I don't want to say it dwarfs them, but it definitely outsells them in terms of putting consoles in the wild. And if they're going to now start getting a percentage of that, then Microsoft is kind of, I don't want to say doubling down, but at least assuring that GameStop's not going to be lost in the kerfuffle, as it were. And as advocates of GameStop, as we've been saying for episodes and episodes, this is a really solid move, man. It puts GameStop in the rearview mirror in terms of like, they're not just going to be left behind. They're going to be getting sales on all the back end stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I really, really like it.
I wonder if this is also, too, going to trickle down to used consoles. So, like, if I originally bought it on Amazon and there's a trade-in deal going on at, whatever, and I trade my shit into GameStop and then they resell it, are they going to get a piece of that pie, too? Because it does say each console into the Xbox atmosphere, and you're reselling something and basically putting it back out there. So, I mean, who knows what what that's going to be.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm curious if once someone sells it, you buy it, reestablishing it. Maybe it's new accounts under Xboxes, because it's definitely all new things moving forward.
That, I wonder if they'll push digital codes too, because I don't know how many people out there have even asked. I know some people don't know that you can't actually purchase a digital code from GameStop. I get digital codes all the time, so that could be a selling point. Like, hey, let me sell you this digital console. I know it doesn't have a disc tray, but we can sell you digital code. And now this code is tied to your Xbox account that you can take anywhere versus having to pop the disc in. And then I wonder if this is even going to lead to maybe some sort of, like they originally with the Xbox One, saying that you might be able to do something in order to get some money back on digital purchases as some sort of trade-in thing. And this could be that doorway to what that kind of was. They must have already had something in mind then, that I wonder if maybe they're just repurposing it here, or now that it's more refined, or, who knows if that's even something that they'll lead out to. Because, I mean, that would be a huge thing too, because depending on how much you're going to get back. But, I mean, I'm not a big trade-in person anymore. I kind of don't really care, but I also don't really hold on to my physical games though that much either. I have a couple that are like special in my heart, but other than that, I just go all digital. It's just so much easier, especially because I'm too lazy to get up, have to hit the disc out. There's nothing more I hate when someone sends me an invite to a game and I'm playing something else, and then I have to get up, put the fucking disc in because I was playing something else, and switch it out versus just being like, okay, AA, there, done.
Yeah, especially how much faster it's going to be. I'm also curious, too, if now that they're partnered up with them, if, let's say in the future, a first-party Xbox game is going to be $70, if buying it digitally, a digital code at a GameStop would be $60, again, because they want initiative. They want you to go back into those stores for something. So I wonder if the digital code online would be, if you don't have the Game Pass, a digital online would be $70. Digital, physically, if you go in and buy the digital code at GameStop, it's $60, and that'd be another way for them to start getting a percentage of something sold. So
they could be, since some people already do that now. Like when Super Mario 3D All-Stars came out, it was normally $60 at like any retailer, but Walmart it was $50 instead. It was $10 less.
Yeah,
and they've done that with a few other games where it's been $10 less at Walmart.
So, and again, people were kind of speculating, like, is Sony going to jump in on this? Is Sony going to do something with maybe not so much GameStop, but a partner down the line, that maybe a Walmart or something like that? Because it does, I mean, it is good for the overall economy. But PlayStation really is not person to, like, give a shit. Like, where Microsoft is really kind of like
trying to get that first place, get that momentum. So, I mean, either way, it's good for GameStop, and they were hurting. So, I mean, this is, again, another huge step forward for them, hopefully.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add on the GameStop or the PS5 UI?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's start moving into that, ripping it up. And so my first riff, guys, is that if you are a PS4 owner, recently there was a big system update, the 8.0, and that just happened on Wednesday. Now, what happened is that the voice chat changed, and a lot of people were greeted with this message saying voice chats may be recorded for moderation. By joining, you agree to being recorded. Now, a lot of people kind of freaked out. They're saying, is all my party chat going to be recorded? Who's using this information? Blah, 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 blah. And they were kind of Sony just kind of went back and reconfirmed that this, and as well as moving into the PS5, that it's pretty much a party safe issue. And they also said that the recordings must be sent from users. They're not being monitored, but what they're essentially looking at is that users can record and use the audio to report fellow players for bullying, hate speech, or threatening others. They pretty much want to make voice chat with online gaming a safe space. And I completely understand that because there are a lot of just shit talking and things like that. But that kind of takes out the rudimentary value of what original gaming online with other people is. Saying you're better than other people and saying it in a shit talk way. I don't like that other people can be banned or maybe suspended. I think what they should do is make different chat leagues. There should be an 18 and up one that understands shit talking is going to be a thing, and then a kid one, because I don't like playing games with 8-year-olds anyway, and I understand if they want to separate that, but there's a difference between how Andrew and I and friends play and talk to each other knowing it's fun versus someone taking it out of context, and I think something like that should be implicated. There should be at least an age difference, and you accept to join a group like that, or you don't hear the rest of that. Andrew, you play way more online games than I do. Am I completely out of my element, or do you think that's a safe and fair way to move forward?
No, I mean, it's nice to have everyone integrated because that's a part of teamwork, especially playing something like Call of Duty, and you could just mute the people that you don't want to listen to. I mean, that's already a fix for all of that anyways. You really don't have to listen to it. But there's... I don't know, because you can already report people, I guess, for it. But now so all it really does is make that proof. And if anything, I guess that will make it better. Like, last night I jumped in Call of Duty with one of my friends that I work with, so I have to be in the game chat because he has a PS4. So I have to hear everybody else. And the first game that I jumped into, there's just like two other people that... Not even nothing. Me and him were just trying to unlock the shotgun, not even talking or anything like that, just playing quietly. Dude, just started dropping like calling us N-word, like hard R's and everything like that, and then it turned into like all kinds of like gay slurs and like whatever. I'm like, dude, I didn't even say anything to you, and it like within like 2 seconds it evolved. Now I'm getting mad and I'm yelling at this guy, and I'm like, fuck you, like get fucked, like just because you suck and whatever, and like trying to team kill him like on purpose because I'm just getting pissed. So I don't know, if anything, out of spite, I report him. Hopefully that he gets banned because I'll be honest, I do that to people. Like, if we're talking shit back and forth and someone were to take the first step and message me and be like, oh, you're a bitch, I'll report it. Hopefully they get banned because I'm smart enough not to write them back.
Right, yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm kind of, like, indifferent to it as it is. I mean, if it'll help get those people out of there that are, like, take it, like, way too far, like, oh, fuck you, like, I hope your mom dies of cancer, you know, like, crazy shit like that. Because there's one thing that's talking shit and being competitive, like, I'm better than you or you suck, whatever, you know, as someone who is competitive, I don't talk like that to other people that I don't know, but I can kind of understand whatever, but it does cross a line, and it's very easy to cross that line.
But don't you think it'll be an easy fix? Jump into certain party chats that can have it, certain people that have. You can still mute people, you can still do things, but when you go into certain groups or something like that, it doesn't. Because the other thing is, like, shit talking is just like when UFC fighters shit talk. It gets in the other player's head. If you can start fucking up a player that's usually really good and mess up their gameplay, that's all it is. It's all psychological. Do people take it way too far? Yes, definitely. And are some people... Because again, what defines trash talk? What defines bullying? Is, you know, what is now being allowed to say? Is saying you suck? Oh my god, I'm reporting that. You know what I mean? People's feelings are so... There's no scale that says what words can and can't be, which is why I don't think this is going to go anywhere. It's going to be too... Because there's going to be so many trolls that go, oh, he said I suck. Ban him. Report them. And how many strikes can you get? I don't know if this is a fix to what's never going to be fixable. I would say make an adult content party chat thing that you know what you're getting into, or play in one that strictly doesn't allow it, and then you can ban it, because I don't see how that's going to fix anybody, because who's to say what I can and cannot say that is bullying?
We'll just have to wait and see what it says first, honestly.
But it's already out here. This already happened, guys. This is already in the wild right now 2 days ago, and it's a thing moving forward in the PS5. This might change a lot of the online spectrum of how people play in terms of least... Because, I mean, you are who you are when you're playing.
As long as you're not a piece of shit, you'll be fine.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I am curious where this goes, or who the first people that start getting banned on and saying, hey, you suck. Because that's a shitty one. So, Andrew, what was your riff?
My first one is actually about an Instagram user named Richard Mallard, who, using the Android xCloud app, again, that's so Xbox, you can stream a majority of the Game Pass games, whatever, you know, they have their set list to some sort of Android device, actually was streaming Doom Eternal to his Samsung fridge. So it showed up on his smart panel, took up like the whole screen and everything on there, and surprisingly, even though obviously everyone can picture a fridge isn't meant for something like that. So it's got some weird sizing on there. It's not sizing like, oh, for like a game or like a phone or something like that. It's not what they have in mind. But it fit on there like perfectly. And he was able to play it. And I just thought it was absolutely hilarious. And I just thought that by itself, because that story kind of caught fire, is going to be a thing that shows, okay, you know, this is xCloud. You can stream it to anything, to whatever. So if for whatever reason you are that guy who you got to cook a 4-hour fucking meal and you have your turkey in there and you can't step away, you can stream your Xbox to whatever and be playing while you're doing whatever, even though you could easily walk out of the kitchen and keep playing. But that's besides the point. It just shows kind of that power of, you can stream to a phone, you can stream to whatever, you can stream to a fucking fridge, get your Tamagotchi out, you're going to stream to that, like whatever the case may be. That's just another like proof in the pudding for the xCloud.
Yeah, all the technology is just kind of being integrated. Now, I wasn't sure, he didn't tinker with the fridge, did he? Was there any settings he had to like bypass or maneuver by? Because that's what I'm curious about. Like, because can the average Joe just do that? Because watching the video, he's just like, yeah, here we go. I was just like, Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't see that he actually had to mess with anything. And I think I said Doom earlier. It was actually Doom Eternal.
No, I think you said Doom Eternal.
Oh, just making sure that, yeah, it was the newest Doom, which just came to Game Pass at the start of this month.
Yeah, so that's where things are getting, guys. Thanksgiving, people are going to be playing Doom Eternal in their kitchen. So, anything else you want to add on that?
Nope.
So I would move into my last one, guys, and this is that Spider-Man Miles Morales just showed off some new gameplay, and more importantly, they showed off the first boss fight with Rhino. So the gameplay shows off Miles Morales actually with Peter Parker, Spider-Man, going through, saving the helicopter. But once the main fight starts happening, it goes into Rhino, and it really just shows off how not only beautiful does this game look, but the way that the combat is just going to be kind of just very quick, very in your face, very combo related. I really super enjoyed that. And then the last thing that kind of came out in the same thing, because I think this was a video from Game Informer, was that he goes on a mission to rescue Spider Cat, which is like this local convenience store owner's cat. And, you know, you find him, and the cat's adorable, obviously. But at the end of the video, he kind of suits you up, and you get this backpack, and the cat now has a Spider-Man mask on him, and then it shows him start fighting people, and he does this combo where like he hits this guy, but the cat comes out of the backpack and tags him tags him in the face. I don't know how much damage little kitty paw's doing, but I think that's what the video ended. Dude, I was dying, and that got a lot of people. A lot of videos were like Spider Cat. So really good gameplay, and I like that we got to see a good boss fight. I mean, this game is weeks away, so one last little icing on the cake before we got to see it. So
yeah, no, I actually really like that. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, moving into more gameplay.
Yeah, my final one is actually besides final previews that are out, they actually showed another trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now this one actually really is what did it for me. This is kind of, again, I've been kind of saying like this game kind of looks like boring, like drab. I don't like the environment. It's kind of just like whatever. It's all just cold and gray, and I don't care for it as much. This one showed off a lot of the different landscapes, like snow, marshes, like there's like a field that almost looked like autumn coloring and everything like that. And it was a lot more colorful too in some of the areas that we were going, and the game actually looked a lot better. And maybe it was just the trailer, maybe some like final, TLC, or not TLC, just some final touch on the game to actually make it look good. But it actually looked really good. It looked significantly better than anything that I've seen. I honestly thought that this, because it doesn't really show any spoilery stuff. I don't think there is a little bit of it that's in there, but if you trim some of that out, that still would have been a good trailer. I felt this should have been the official first showing of the game, and then gone everything else from there, and I think it would have done a lot more wonders, because again, I didn't really care for this game until I saw this now, and I was like, okay, this is like what I'm wanting, this is great, versus I'm fucking sailing and I'm just fighting these people on this coast, and like everywhere else I'm going kind of looks the same and is boring.
Yeah, it's one of those things, because I completely agree with you. This should have been what we saw originally, and it confuses me how Ubisoft didn't have something like this prepared back in July or August, and we're finally seeing it. We're finally seeing it less than a month before we're going to be playing this game. We finally get this big 7-minute clip, because it's gorgeous. Like Andrew's saying, you watch those old videos, it's very bleak and bland to now being gorgeous and colorful, and I don't know how they find these guys to do these narrations, to have these voices.
It was good.
It just seemed to fit the time, because he just goes over, I mean, very carefully. Not spoiling the name, but he just goes over very carefully of what you're gonna be doing in the game, how you're gonna be moving in the game, what's the offer, what's this, and then there's more. And it did a very good job, because Andrew and I were looking at it, like, how do you debate this? Does it look like Like, because if Skyrim's going to start looking like this, I'm all in. Is it kind of looking like Andrew was saying, like Witcher? I was like, yeah, this game looks like it's very deep, and they're really paying attention to detail, because this is something that's taking place in one of the most gorgeous landscapes you can do, and I thought it did a very, very good job, and the combat looks even better. It showed off a little more of kind of how the progression system. What I did like is they showed off the how you can find certain books that offer only certain skills, and that alone has its own progression within the progression of it. I was like, wow, that's really cool. So this game, I mean, so it might have went from like a 40-50 hour game to 70-90. I mean, who knows how much is going to be locked in, especially now they're showing that you can do Valhalla and all these other things.
Spoilers.
Like, yeah, hey, watch the trailer. It's a spoiler. But, I mean, I'm very, very impressed. Can you give me one Michelob before we move forward?
Sure thing.
Yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I got to say, I think the color palette alone with what they did, hey, it picks up itself, man. Don't even worry about it. What fell out? What do we got?
Another one.
And another one. That's all you now. You said you were switching over.
No way, dude. I'm like halfway through this. This beer sucks.
Anything else you want to add on anything else we've talked about as of yet?
Yeah, I hate this beer the more it goes on.
It wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't what I was hoping for. So real quickly, Andrew, let's move into what are you playing? Are you still on Yakuza, or are you almost done? Is there anything on the horizon before we get into next gen?
I'm almost done with the Yakuza still. I'm actually, again, like I was saying before, finding myself doing all the side stuff, so it actually is taking me longer. I'm really enjoying this game. I think I'm on chapter 14 out of 16 though, so I am kind of at the tail end of the game, and I'm gonna do a lot of the extra stuff that I can. And I have been playing again that new season 6 of Warzone, which they do have like the Halloween special coming up. I think that starts on the 20th. They just put out like a new shotgun, which I actually spent the other day trying to unlock and use it and stuff. And I put in some more time into Division. I'm actually really trying to finish that, and going back and playing it now, I'm like, man, dude, this is such a fucking slog. Like, again, playing it with AJ, like, I'm having fun because we're just bullshitting the whole time. But I'm like, this game, like, really kind of sucks.
Oh.
But maybe it's because the second
coming up how good number 2 was.
Yeah, again, I
go backwards.
Yeah, I enjoy 2 a lot more than I'm enjoying this one. But again, as I was playing this, I'm like, I kind of remember why I put it down in the first place. But I want to see it through to completion.
I like that. I'm still playing Doom Eternal, which I'm having a blast with. It is taking me a little longer than normal because I am trying to get 100% on all the records, on all the stones, on all the runes, on all that stuff. So level by level, it is taking me, the full duration of it. Having a blast, man. I can't wait for you to start playing it. The other game, and again, that's on Game Pass. And the other game on Game Pass I'm playing is Stranger Things 3. It's a real kind of throwback to kind of like, I don't know if it's a mix between like 8-bit or 16-bit, but it's somewhere in the middle of there. And it's really just kind of a fetch questy game. It's got combat. You can start switching through the characters. So for being October, fighting demons on one, fighting demigorgons on the other, got a real October vibe going on there. So
I do want to throw in, because Doom Eternal came to the Game Pass. Remember, I was talking for a while about that Tales of Vesperia game, and I wanted to buy it and everything. That just came to the Game Pass today too. So I'm really glad I didn't buy it.
There's no point anymore. Everything's just going to go. So that is what we're playing, guys. Make sure you jump down below and let us know what you're playing. I love having conversations about what people are up to. I was just talking to Casey. Casey was playing the new Zelda that we both beat on the Switch. He's jumping onto that, and Link's Awakening. And he didn't know there was an old like Game Boy Color game. So I was talking to him about it. So I love hearing what people are up to. He's like, yeah, playing late night Switch games in the bedroom before I go to bed. I'm like, dude, what a more perfect game to play than that game, Link's Awakening.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I'm actually really glad for you. That's my all-time favorite game. Tied, I think I would put it just a little bit, not by much, in front of Majora's Mask. But those 2 games tied for my all-time favorite games of all time.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys are playing. So next thing, guys, we're going to move into video game questions of the week. And the first question, here's our suspect. Chris Trejo, yeah, fuck. You guys should drink Kachina Throwback Ale. Question: do you think we will ever see Nintendo do another true handheld in the Game Boy lineup, or will they just stick to the Switch? Hashtag next gen. What do you think?
I don't know. I think they could do another handheld, but I feel like it's almost too late now. So they could do a handheld because they've been doing handhelds forever. And so that split their game. So that way you got to buy 2 copies of whatever. You have a game that's only on this other handheld console. So you had to go and buy it. You had to go out and buy the Game Boys for Pokemon. But now that they're bringing all that stuff to the Switch and the Switch is a handheld, if they were to go back to making something that's their next console isn't as convenient, or a handheld or something that you take or do whatever, and now I have to buy another thing, I feel like they would kind of get backlash for that, because that was a thing people were willing to accept before. But now that I can have Pokemon, I don't have to have a Game Boy anymore. I can have all those great games, especially because they're porting a lot of those games over to the Switch. I already have to buy them again, which that's a different conversation to be had. But then to make it so, all right, on the next one, we're going back to some different thing. Your other games don't work, but now you also have to buy this other handheld with this other set of shit that we want you to buy too. They could. I don't think that would be the right move, because I think they're killing it with the Switch and what they're doing, and the next one's got to be some sort of iteration or something like that of it.
Yeah, I'd probably almost say definitively no. And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they just stop all production on all 3DS stuff?
Right.
Like, you can no longer go buy. They're not producing any more 3DS games. They're not manufacturing any more 3DS system. So
nor should they.
The Switch is something extremely special, where it's now a system and a handheld, and leave it to Nintendo to be innovative. The reason I would say no, because they're having such a hard time, from what I'm hearing, is to move these games from 3DS to the Switch that everybody wants. Now, if you were to make a new Game Boy game, you couldn't go backwards. I mean, it would always have to be dual screen forever, unless you made something that blew that out of the water. But
3 screens.
Really? I mean, you
2 right here and 1 on the back.
You couldn't go backwards from that. You know what I mean? And that's hard enough to move it to a system that's selling gangbusters. Gangbusters? Oh, you can coin me on that. Gangbusters. And it would just wouldn't make any sense, because the 3DS was so popular and so good, but the Switch is just so much better, that what Game Boy would you make that makes any sense? I mean, the fact that they already have a Joy-Con constructed one that is non-movable and one that kind of is their Game Boy. There are 2 models. I think moving forward is going to be one, the only handheld, which is a Game Boy, and the second one that is their console rivalry. So I wouldn't see any reason why they would come out with another Game Boy product unless the next Switch just had a Game Boy design to it. I don't see them moving that way, because I think it would be a big step backwards. They kind of mastered 2-in-1, and it's doing great. Unless in 5-10 years from now there's a change, maybe, but I would say nowhere near in the nearable future. So
yeah, for something that's got weaker third-party support, and even like a shitty, I gotta have an app on my phone to be able to talk to somebody with like weird shit like that, and that console was still selling out. I mean, they hit magic, I think, with the Switch.
Yeah, lightning in a bottle, and leave it to Nintendo to be these guys that can do it. So thank you for the question, and fuck you on the beer, and leave us your comment below. So next question comes from John Tovitz, and he says, super enjoy your guys' stuff, man. Really good. I've been looking forward to start podcasting / YouTubing, and it seems like a big step and work. Fucking hey. Any pointers or advice for someone thinking about starting? #nextgen. My man, I mean, we're not big by any means, so I wouldn't say maybe our word would be anything worth merit when you look at guys that are huge. But I would say, don't be scared to start doing it. I mean, Andrew and I should have been doing this years prior, before we finally got the show off the ground. And I guess don't be too self-conscious on what you're doing. I would say start doing it, maybe not release it day one. Let other people hear it and hear how you sound, see what you need to improve on. I don't know if you plan on doing it as, a solo act or with a friend or something like that. Make sure your co-host, though, is extremely reliable. When we started doing these things, I was doing it with Sean Love at one point, Gino, CN, we were doing like a group show, Lane and Robbie. It took a while to figure out. We were doing movie trivia at some point as like our thing. Cliff Mayo was part of that. And it finally took what it was, and it took trial and error, because I say this on a lot of episodes. I don't like our original stuff because I don't like the way it sounds or the way it looks, but we wouldn't be doing what we are if it wasn't for that. You look back on some of those old ones, I think me and you are completely different people the way we do things, and it is just a lot of trial and error. And I would also say, man, as a step, try to find somebody on Facebook. Facebook's a good place to look that talks about things you like, and maybe ask to be a guest on something, because it's a lot harder to try to create something and maybe guide somebody or do something with than it is to be on someone's show and be guided. So your first good step might be meet a good YouTuber or a good podcaster, be a guest, see the operation, see the editing. And then once you feel comfortable of going, oh, well, I can kind of do that, I can do that, then start your own. Get a little info under your belt and then maybe push forward. But that's how I would say it from a guy that tried starting something a couple years ago Andrew, how would you? Any advice for the lad?
Yeah, again, like Craig said, not all of our stuff is great. Like whenever I introduce anyone, friends, anyone to our channel, or whatever, I'm like, if you're gonna listen to us and you're gonna listen to our old stuff, start at like episode 13, go forward. Don't bother with the first ones because I'm just not. But we leave it up there because, again, it's where we started. Not everything you make is going to be gold is something you got to learn to. Not everything's going to do as well as the other videos are. I think most importantly, and what's most important for us, is your heart just has to be in it. We don't do this for the money as of right now.
Definitely.
Again, we're not at 1,000. We don't get money from anything. All these consoles, all this stuff that we've given away is because we've been blessed with a position from, work, bonus, whatever the case may be, to where we can do something to give back to anybody, people like you that we appreciate, that give us even just the slightest bit of time. There's so many people that I see all the time, like, oh, I'm starting my channel, and it's all just like try to get big bullshit just for the money, and that's the stuff that I'm like least interested in. A lot of times now, like I still find like YouTubers all the time. I have like a huge list already, but I still find people all the time that are new that are super passionate about. One of my favorite ones I found like the last year, his name is Avalanche Reviews, and he did like a Resident Evil retrospective. I just his passion in that game matches mine, and so I absolutely love it. So if you're not passionate about what you're doing, it's going to be hard for you to build that fan base. And I would also try to say, too, try to do something different. Don't go cookie cutter and do what everyone else does. Cool. There's so many times in a couple other like Facebook, YouTube groups just to kind of gauge things and maybe see if there's some sort of market or something like that there that we could kind of help ourselves to grow. And there's so many people I can see and they're doing like the same thing, the same kind of video, the same gameplay. Here, watch me play this that's not interesting, whatever. Or even just, I have mental illness, let me tell you about why I think I have whatever with my self-diagnosis, just shit like that. Like, if it's not a real passion for you, then you're not going to want, it's going to be a lot more work to do these videos. It's easier now for us to crank it out because we love doing this. This is like my favorite day of the week is coming here, seeing him and doing this. We even, I mean, there's times where we do hang out during the week, but there's other weeks where we like try not to see each other just so that way like we can build it up, save up like that. I just saw you yesterday, I just saw you the day before. Like, our chemistry here is the same as it is all the time. We don't fake anything for the show. How we act here is how we're going to act to you in person or something like that. Again, the conversations we're having here is as soon as the camera goes off, we're having the same conversations about whatever. I call Craig all the time, or he'll call me like, "Hey, did you see this new thing?" And we'll start talking. Oh, save it for the show.
Exactly.
Like,
I love that.
We're like dying to talk
even
about
in text
whatever.
message. Remember when I texted him like, "Dude, stop! Just save it for the show.
Yeah.
Save it for the show." So.
And so that's I think the most important advice that I could give is something that I've learned is if your heart is not in it, then you're not going to want to do it, and it's not going to grow naturally.
Yeah, and one of the things I would say is duration. Figure out what you want to hit as quick as you can, because I always knew when we started doing this, I wanted to make a show. I didn't want to do a 15-minute conversation on something. If we can get something done in 30 minutes because it's quick enough, fantastic. But we talk about, look at the show right now. We did 2 stories. We did 2 conversations apiece. We talked about what we're playing. We had a lot of content that we smashed, and the goal is to get it around an hour. So figure out what you want to do. If you want to talk about UFC fights and recap something week by week, aim for that 15 thing. Don't give more information, or don't drag on more information that's unusable or that you've said 4 times in 3 sentences. So I would just say make sure identify the target, and I would say put some experience in your belt. Find somebody or talk to somebody or watch some DIYs on structure, and there you go, because you got to have something before you can go on with nothing. And I would say I'm a stickler on equipment. Make equipment your last thing. Start recording things, because that's what took us forever. I would just say make sure you have something ready to go and just show off, and then you'll get better.
And the last thing I want to add to is you do want to watch other people. Like, you want to decide what you want to do and do it your own way. Don't feel like you have to copy somebody else. Like me and Craig, I still listen to all kinds of other podcasts, other shows, other people. I think that what we do is very original. We don't copy anyone else. We don't take anything from anyone else. I am interested in, I guess technically what you would call it is what the competition does or whatever. But I like naturally hearing other people's opinions. And a lot of the people I listen to, it may be crazy different than mine. And then I'm proud of being able to put something out there that I know. I feel like what we do is very.
Nobody has that voice.
It's very original. Like, we don't have any sort of segments, no other ideas, no nothing. Like, everything we've done has all been our own stuff. I didn't take a piece from him, a piece from him, a piece from him. I'm gonna throw together this, and now that's gonna be me. This is all just our own ideas.
Yeah. So I mean, just do it, man. The most we can say is just get out there, do it. I'd love to see it. Once you start getting it going, tag us and whatever you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to see it. So, guys, we normally would get into the contest right about here, and we'd rattle on, and I'd half bake it, half cook it. So we decided to make a small video of what exactly is going on. So we're going to take a quick minute to show you guys this now. Hey guys, my name is Craig, and this is Mandrew, and this is the official Last Call Gaming giveaway for the digital PS5 or the Xbox Series S. Now, to be entered into the contest, you must like these videos, and you have to be subscribed to the channel. You will not be viewed if you are not subscribed. Now, to be a eligible participant, you must be in North America or these parts of Europe. Now, we are flexible on this, guys. Here is a big list. If you do not see your country on there, feel free to email us or send us on Instagram or Twitter or the comments and ask if your country is eligible. If it is within our budget to provide it, we will look it up and we will get back to you, letting you know that you are eligible to enter. Also, guys, if once you win, you have 1 week to respond. So if you hear your name being called on episode 69 that you are the winner, you must reach out to us, because if we do not hear from you, we're going to keep doing the contest until we actually hit the person that has one that's reached back out to us. Now, the way you enter is in the comment section. Leave us a question, leave us any type of criticism, but you have to write hashtag nextgen. That is going to be your entry moving forward in the episodes, how we recognize that you are entered in. Now, the contest is going from episode 63, which has already happened, all the way up until episode 68. Now, what you can do is you can go on all of those and enter hashtag nextgen, and that will give you an entry for each and every one of those. Because on episode 69, which is November 13th, we are going to announce the winner. So by episode 68, the last date will actually be November 12th. You will have till 12 p.m. noon, and that's going to be Arizona time, because that is where we reside, and that's the way we're going to base the clock off of, guys. So make sure you follow those simple rules, and if there's any confusion at all, write us, comment to us, because we will get back to you and we will clarify it. But just to reiterate, contest is between episode 63 to 68, and episode 69 will be the winner announcement, which is going to be November 13th. And that is all we have to say for the Last Call Gaming giveaway, guys. Good luck.
Good luck.
Alrighty, guys, so that is the contest. Make sure you pay attention to the rules. Make sure you figure out how you can win. That brings us a close to this nice, beefy episode. Andrew, is there anything else you would like to add to the kids?
Yeah, as always, thank you. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe.
Sub and those notifications.
Yeah, turn that bell on.
So, guys, until next time, my name is Craig Perales, and that is Mandrew Montemayor. Cheers.
Who do you think would win in a fight?
Me or you? Who?
I was trying to think of how to word it.
Are they both men? Man or woman?
Let me Colin Farrell as Penguin or Colin Farrell as Bullseye.
Colin Farrell as Bullseye. He's a ranger.
Yeah, but that Penguin, though, you could hit him with the umbrella that's a machine gun? Or the hypnotizing
he would never see him coming.
He could, though.
But he won't. But he can't and he won't.
I feel like Colin Farrell's pretty cool. I really like Phone Booth.
Who doesn't?
I feel like a lot of people hate
is
him.
An excellent movie. Well, guess because a lot of people don't like Alexander. Alexander?
Who's that?
You don't remember Alexander with Angelina Jolie and Colin Farrell?
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh, well, it's not good.
Well, good. I'm glad I'll skip that then.
Yeah, he kind of soured off on a lot of people when that movie came out. But
I really feel like
Kiefer
Sutherland steals the show in Phone Booth, though, with his voiceover.
It's a solid voiceover.
Because then when he did Metal Gear, I know a lot of people weren't hyped for it, but I was like, Dude, after
It's just such a weird voice to replace, though. It's not like it was somebody that wasn't of merit. Like, David Hayter's the shit.
Yeah.
So why replace them? Unless there's some behind-the-scenes thing that we don't know about.
The big theory for a while was so that way it didn't seem so weird, was to replace old Snake with Kiefer Sutherland, and young Snake could stay David Hayter, so it doesn't sound like the same person talking to each other.
I'm okay with that, but they didn't do that. Okay.
No, they didn't, and I would have been fine with that too. Well, you'll never fucking play it. So
What?
that's Metal Gear Solid 5.
I'll play it. I think I have it.
Well, you should. It was.
Oh wait, no, I don't. Oh yeah, I do. It's on.
Yeah, because you bought it and then it was on the Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it ends. Is like you're listening to this tape or whatever, and then when he flips it over, I forget what it says. It's like Operation something, but
Snake what? Snake something?
No, it's whatever the name of Metal Gear, like the actual Famicom one is, and so that's what leads into the original, like the very first Metal Gear game.
So the one on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I don't think this is Operation. It's got some sort
so
of
they're
title.
finally
Whatever
just setting up the storyline of what led it to where.
Right, and I thought it was really cool, and I think those games need a remake. Like those
They
would
get those
be
remakes all the time.
no, like
What, you want to replay number 1 and 2? Oh, the
No,
NES
not-
one, you mean?
Yeah, not Metal Gear
Have
Solid.
you ever played the
Metal
original
Gear.
NES one?
Yeah.
What are you going to remake it on?
No, make it like a full-blown Metal Gear game. Take that story, give it the more Kojima or whoever it is going to
So
do
it'd be
it
like
now,
Final
that
Fantasy
treatment.
remake where it's completely different in terms of like battle scenes or something. Like, because that game has to be. I mean, you can beat that game in like. I mean, you can get from A to B in minutes. Where like, if you're gonna turn it into hours,
Yeah,
it'd have to be like sections of the game that are completely reformed and shit like that.
Well, even still, it's a top-down.
Well,
fucking
but I like it
NES
though
game.
because I mean they're all puzzly and you have to backtrack. But like that one was completely like you had to go to the Jeep, you had to figure out where the key card was, go back to this place, grab your guns. Ammunition was limited. Good game.
I'd prefer it to be like an actual like. I can look full 360.
So we're
do
talking
whatever.
ground up remake.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think that would be really fucking cool. Because then you
Or-
can do 1 and 2 and then just leave it.
Or it'd be cool. You know what would be cool when they make the next Metal Gear, if they do whatever it's gonna be.
God willing.
Remake that game into just a 2-hour game and make it add-on bonus or something like that. Like replay the NES game remade. It's only 2 hours. It's a little side game on top of the new.
I would say at least 5.
Or whatever it's going to be. You don't need to make it a 30, 40-hour game. Make a small little game that shows Snake on...
I'd want it to be a
what's
10...
the island that he has to go to when they're doing like
Outer Heaven.
Outer Heaven and shit like that. Like do a small little like intro into the series, remade instead of playing the
Oh, no,
old
Shadow
one.
Moses.
Shadow
excuse me,
Moses.
yeah.
I was gonna say that didn't sound right. Okay.
Yeah. Make it a 10-hour game, and 6 of the hours are dialogue.
Fuck. Well, that'd be it.
I think maybe that's kind of why, like, Yakuza is almost kind of like a modern, like, Metal Gear, because there's lots of twists and stuff to it.
Very careful. So you're treading on some very dangerous waters.
I